how you doing? John English here. John English Technical Services coming at you with a little update. Well, it's been a while, guys. I have not pointed the camera at my setup here. I've been so freaking busy, dude, with work, and we are expecting a little one in October. This is my first, so really excited about that. I have been steady nose to the grind. No ifs, ands, or buts, just getting it done. I've been remodeling a master bedroom, and I'm really close to finishing. We have to get some flooring in the bathroom and a little bit of paint, and then that thing is ready to go, move-in ready, and then I can do the final touches like baseboards and other things like that as I go. But pretty much just got to get that master going. And I mean, that house that I'm talking about, referring to, it's been through so many things. Maybe I make a video about that another day. But basically, the house was at one point on, I only had 20 amps. I had a 120 volt outlet going to the entire house. So my lady and I were living literally on extension cords in this house for a little while we got some things ironed out. I had 100 amps of service to the house that got interrupted by a buddy of mine who was trying to help us out with his tractor, and he pulled the 100 amp service out of the ground, and it completely screwed up my panel. My main panel got torn up, and yeah, it was kind of a nightmare scenario, kind of an unreal scenario where you can't believe that it's actually happening. But like I said, another story for another day. But it got me. That experience taught me so much, and it forced me to become more proficient with my electrical stuff. And so I've been really studying electricity and studying how to be more of an electrician. I've actually thought of it as like a career path for myself, but it's a little late to do that. I'm really involved in tech. I have been for a while. I've had a pretty successful business going for a little while now. We're going to be coming up on 20 years pretty soon. So over 15 years in the community doing tech work and supporting businesses. So I can't stop that role now. It's on, man. I'm knee deep in the weeds with tech, and I love it. I love being part of computer help, networking, business support, MSP, all that kind of stuff. I like being available for people. So little update in what we're talking about here, though. We've been focusing on Salad. The AI rig area has been great. The AI rig rentals has been awesome. I've been moving up in the rankings there, and so it's pretty successful. I mean, some people would say, "Oh, you should be on Vast. Oh, you should be on a private thing. Why are you even wasting your time with Intel or AMD rigs or whatever?" It's like, dude, hold your thoughts and your judgment for yourself. You know, everybody has something to say about other people's stuff, but they're not taking care of their own waistlines, their own pocketbooks, their own ladies, their own family. You know, people looking over into other people's gardens all the time, seeing what's growing, when you need to be focused on your own rotting vegetables and fruits that are in your own freaking garden. So that's kind of my little rant. But yeah, I like Salad. Salad's been good to me. For my connection, I'm not on fiber. I'm in the country. I can't get fiber. I can't get 3 gig or 1 gig or 500 up and down. I can't get a fiber connection to AT&T. I can't even get Comcast. I can't get coaxial. I can't get any of that stuff. So I'm on a hodgepodge of 5G connections, and I have it all aggregated into one on my Ubiquiti Dream Machine Special Edition. And so I make it work. And it's actually really, really good, because years ago when I got into Ethereum mining and just into general GPU mining, I studied a lot. I was looking at 3070s, and they were seemingly the most efficient card years ago for Ethereum, and it turns out they were the most efficient card for a lot of things. But I was thinking, oh, I want the most hash rate, so I looked at the 3090. Well, the 3090 is not good for many reasons, but the main reason why it is not good is because it had the memory on both sides of the board, and the way they crammed those modules in, it really heated up the cards to like really unmanageable, unreasonable thermal temperatures that you had to negate with upgrading your pads, upgrading your paste, maybe even doing some really big mods to your GPU. So I went the 3080 Ti route years ago. This is an example right here of a good 3080 Ti that has been getting rented nonstop on Salad. So density was something that I focused on years ago, and now it's paying for itself in many, many ways, because I already had a lot of the hardware that is getting rented. I had a ton of 3080 Ti's. I think I was up to like 12 or 13 at one point, 3080 Ti's, which for me, that was a bundle. That was a lot of money that I spent on that. And so I had a few 3080 Ti's die, and I sold them for parts, and that was a great move when I did, because I still made a pretty good amount of money on parts only, and somebody else was able to probably fix it and move it on. So we've kind of diversified. Now we have 4090s running. I have three 4090s. I have a 5090. This is a 5070, or no, excuse me, 4070. We have a 5070 running right now. And then this is the most recent addition, is the 4070 Ti Super. So this has the new 12 pin style connector. And then we have an MSI 1000 watt power supply, MSI motherboard, and this is my first AMD rig I've built in many, many years. I used to be an AMD guy, but I've always had Intel, and I've gone back and forth between the two. But for the last like 10, 20 years, I've been Intel only. And so a buddy of mine, shout out to Desert Miner, he's a good dude. He recommended that I check out these AMD builds for Salad. And we had that sale recently, so I picked up a couple, and this is one of them. This is one of these AMD motherboards. And then I got some cheap Corsair or Crucial memory, got some cheap memory there. And then this was an extra power supply I had laying around. And so I put all this together, and yeah, it's for Salad for sure. And it's gonna be rented here pretty soon. I gotta finish the install on this machine. So I can just go up here and I'm gonna start my Salad up. And yeah, this is pretty basic stuff. People are, they have their opinions about Salad, and I respect them. You can, sure, if you have a data center, if you have access to that, or you have access to 10 gig or 2 gig or whatever fiber, more power to you, man. If you have, $30, $40, $50,000 in hardware that you can deploy on that, that's great. I'm happy for you, man. But not all of us are in your same situation. So this is what I'm making work at home. I have my Kaspa miners currently off, which is a sad day and age. We have these two helium hotspots. We had to get the firmware up to date, and then we're gonna bring it back out in the field. If you're not into helium mobile and you don't understand what these are, do your own research. I really don't care. I'm not gonna take my time to explain this to you, but this is a great project as well. It's on Solana, and these are not being gamified or anything like that. I'm actually a legit deployer. I don't do stupid stuff like that. These hotspots are just for power cycling. They're running off of PoE, and they're getting updated, and they're going to go back out into the field. And so I'm not even mining Radiant at the moment either. I have my Radiant RX 0 on. I'm probably going to end up selling all of this hardware. I'm waiting for the Kaspa price to go up a little bit higher, and then we can get rid of these miners for a good price. And then the focus is to get everything going for solar. And so I already have solar. Right now I'm running my meter backwards, and I have to run my meter backwards. I do have a commercial rate. I do have an advantage over a lot of people in California to have a commercial solar rate where I get what I produce and send to the grid, I get equally back when I want to use my balance in a sense. So I could send, let's say I have 10,000 watts of solar running, and I send 5,000 to the grid. Well, that 5,000 watts is used later on, like in the evening, when it's almost like having a battery, but instead of having a battery, it's the grid. I just pull from my account essentially that I've accumulated points towards, or credits, solar credits essentially. So you get kilowatt per kilowatt when you send back with this certain system that I'm on. And so I'm a commercial rated, and I have a different rate for my generation, and I have a different rate for my delivery. And so what I have to be mindful of is, yes, both of those, but mainly my delivery rate is where I get really, really screwed on. And that is the PG&E side of it. So Pacific Gas and Electric. I'm in California. We have PG&E out here, and they're awful. PG&E is terrible. They're one of the worst power companies in the world. And the one reason why they're so bad is because they are publicly traded. They have a share. They have an obligation to their shareholders to be profitable. Well, guess what PG&E did in the last 20 years? Well, they had a gas line explosion in San Bruno, California, killing tons of people, blowing up a really valuable neighborhood in an area of Southern California that probably still has a ripple effect. And not only that, they they caused a huge fire in Paradise, California. If you look that up, that's an awful scenario that became it was global news, but it was definitely major headlines in the state and also in the United States, in our country. But what happened was Paradise only had one way in, one way out. It was a beautiful little enclave deep in the woods of Northern California, outside of Chico, way up there. And they had a kind of just like a one way in, one way out scenario. Maybe they had some other ways out if you're like a local and you knew how to get out, like via dirt roads, country roads, maybe four-wheel drive, track trails. But it didn't matter because everything around Paradise it went up in flames, and it left people with a do or die scenario. And some people drove through embers, through the woods in their vehicles. Some people left. They stayed in their cars and died. I mean, a lot of people died in Paradise. I don't know how many, but I think it was like over 100 or something. But it was quite a few. And PG&E was responsible for that. Their lines, they got wind. They had a huge wind gust or storm, and it knocked their power lines down in a field, or hit some trees, whatever the case may be. I don't quite remember the exact details, but they started their lack of raking up the forest or taking care of brush and stuff around their transmission lines, and literally trees growing into the power lines, caused that issue. So PG&E has taken it on the chin with several fires now. It was their fault. And so they had to go through a hardening from like 2018 till now. They've been hardening all their power lines and transmission lines. So that's why our rates are so astronomically high, in California, because PG&E is paying for it via raising the rates of their customers. So let's not affect the shareholder price, and our long-term investors. Let's make sure that the little guys, the mom and pops, the grandma and grandpas, the businesses, the people that depend on energy here, let's get them to pay for our mistake. And so that's the corporate way in the United States, and that's a whole other side rant. But quite frankly, that's bullshit. So PG&E sucks. We have to do everything we can in our state to outcompete these companies like Edison. Even SMUD it's publicly owned, so it's a municipal utility district. It's not a shareholder owned or stockholder owned company. So SMUD is kind of like a really good example. Same thing with I think it's Imperial Irrigation. But all of these guys in California have had to raise their rates, and they will raise their rates because they want to make more money. And guess what? The cost of electricity is going up, and there's a stupid idea that we have to be on EVs. Everybody in California has to be on an electric vehicle by a certain date, and that's just insane. So what does that have me doing? That has myself and my family. We are already on solar, but we need more solar. If we're going to do what we're going to do, we're going to have the freedom to be self-sustainable, to have our own well water, to have our own capacity to charge an electric vehicle eventually from home, so we don't have to be stuck in some stupid supercharger that's broken or clogged up, or having to wait for somebody else. I will snap if I have to go out and travel and have to wait for a broken supercharger. I don't want to do that. EVs are not good for long range travel. It's just the bottom line. It's a safety issue. I think electric vehicles are great for, I'm going to work and back, or maybe I have a job here and there. I'm looking forward to owning one, but I'm not looking forward to the experience and all that. I like the idea of a manual transmission, dummy switches, relays instead of a computer board. I like the idea. As a computer person, I like the idea of simplicity, simple systems that work. We are going so far away from that in so many aspects, like with a computer and Teslas and all this and that. Like, you got to have a PhD in programming to understand like what's going on inside your computer, in your car. But anyway, that's where we're going. We're going to be pushing more solar, more amps, more watts, more panels. I have an incredible opportunity with the amount of sunshine and space that I have, and so we're going to take advantage of that. And so yeah, that's the goal. We're going to put up another like 15 kilowatt hours or 15 kW system that's going to be looking directly into the southwest facing, so we get that afternoon, that midday to evening to sunset. We want to absorb as much of that as possible. So I'm going to be looking at bifacial panels and doing stuff like that. And so, yeah, that's been the focus. I want to be able to be self-sustainable. I want to be able to mine at home. I want to be able to mine Bitcoin, Kaspas, whatever. I want to be able to do AI workloads and stuff like that. And eventually, I can get into having a system that's, more robust, like an 5090 computer or a server case, whatever. But I need to have the ability to get that rented to a private individual or whatever. So I need a few things like a higher speed up and down connection, maybe through a wireless internet service provider that can give me a fiber light connection with port forwarding and the whole nine. There's ways to do port forwarding. I understand even with CGNAT, but for me, that's just a patch. That's not a real fix. And it's also a situation where if that one connection is port forwarded, great. Well, I have 3 others that I have to maintain, and how does the port forwarding work on that? So there's a lot of questions that and uptime and speed. There's a lot of like variables when you start getting into third-party port forwarding services and owning your own VPS, or running your own VPS and doing stuff like that. That when you just have a good connection, you don't even have to think about. So if I had a really good quality AT&T fiber connection, I wouldn't even have to think about port forwarding or whatever, because it's just already there. It's baked in. So that's a good thing. But we're not there yet. So baby steps. I had to do some work in here. I don't know if you noticed, but yeah, I haven't shot a video in a while. But we have the one Gorilla Rack here. We have a second Gorilla Rack over here, and then I made this purchase recently. I got this 24 basic rack, 24 port PDU, and what this is going to do is allow me to run more accessories on 240, because 240 is a better, just a better quality of power. It allows you to get you more wattage and just a better way to run your electronics, in my opinion. And this rack is going to be able. I'm going to be able to expand to this rack. So more salad, more AI, whatever it is. Like this printer is not going to be here. I'm not going to need to run the printer on 240, but we could. But right now, this plug is occupied. My 22 amp, my 20 volt, my 20 amp, 240 volt PDU plug here. This twist lock, this 20 volt, 20 amp. I got a word salad going on today, guys. Excuse me. But anyway, this guy is occupied, so I can't switch this out because we're rented right now. I could shut it down. And more than likely, within 20 minutes, the jobs will pick back up and everything will be hunky-dory again. But that's kind of what I'm waiting on. So this custom little power strip I made many years ago, this thing is sweet, man. Takes your 2 flat plugs, 240, and then I just built this guy myself. This is going to be great for testing ASICs. Eventually, I'd like to have maybe the validity in the ecosystem or in our community that maybe I get some blessings, maybe I get some ASICs to review or test out or whatever, or maybe I just use this as an off-grid system. Maybe I put some panels out in like a horse trailer or something like that, and then just run the amount that this can handle. A 20 amp twist lock 240 dual port, whatever. You can run a mini Doges or anything off of that. So I have a lot of plugs and adapters and things to work with here, so it's kind of exciting. But yeah, so I'm stoked on this. I got these kind of cool plugs here. I'm going to try these out. These are from Dracaena or whatever, the guys that make the Osprey E300. I sold my Osprey E300. I just didn't see a reason for it. As soon as I saw Walela come on, I was like, okay, that's it for me. And as soon as I had it in the mail, then Tari comes out. And I'm like, great, another coin that I could have been mining with my Osprey. Thanks for releasing the bitstream. But the thing is, the Osprey E300, it's a great unit. I'm not talking any smack on it. It's just not for me. I'm kind of exhausted with spec playing and having some really minimal coin to mine, and then you're going to go and sell it on the exchange, and you're going to tank the liquidity, and you're going to do all these things that don't really, it's not really conducive. And so maybe I'll get in the FPGAs later, and maybe I'll buy another E300 But to me, it just, I mean, it was such a short window of opportunity. I got the E300 to mine Kaspa, and then it was really good on a lithium for a short amount of time, and then Radiant for even shorter amount of time. And then now it's like, what am I going to mine? Tari coin? Like, I don't even know what does Tari solve that the Kaspa doesn't solve. You know what I mean? What does Radiant do that Kaspa can't? So now you have these coins that are coming out, and it's like, well, what do they do now that we have Kaspa? Like, what problem does it solve now that we have something that's an incredibly beneficial layer one to the entire ecosystem, to the entire world? Kaspa provides benefit. So maybe you don't see it like that. Maybe I'm just a blind maxi. That's fine. But I've already done my research. I've used Kaspa many times. I've sent a lot of money over Kaspa and a lot of just small transactions over. I've sent beer money over Kaspa, and it is incredibly fast. And so once the development catches up, which it already is, it's done. You're not going to compete. You're not going to even come close with your Radiant. I bless your heart, Radiant. I loved you, man. You were such a good community and a good project, and we try to give you the benefit of the doubt. But, bless your heart, And now I'm a Kaspa maxi, sure. I love Kaspa. How could you not be? But you know what? People are not. People that have been in crypto for probably just as long as I have, maybe not as long, they are talking smack on Kaspa. They call us Kaspa tards. Okay, dude, you sound like point the finger at yourself. Maybe be more critical of your own shortcomings before you start calling a Kaspa retarded. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. I'm laughing about it and coughing. It's too funny, dude. People always have something to say, especially when they don't have any skin in the game. If you got out of Kaspa and you missed the boat, oh man, you must be on the sidelines hating yourself right now. Because we're going there, folks. We are on our way. We are making it happen. So anyway, I'm kind of ranting. I'm all over the map right now. And I didn't even tell you anything about the numbers here, but we got a lot of salad going. You know what I mean? We're doing upgrades. Yes, we still have a rat's nest. Go ahead and leave your comments below if you like rat's nests of cabling. This is just temporary, just like life, guys. Not everything has to be perfect. Not everything has to be color-coded and neat. That is for me to do later. I don't need your approval for this right now. This is working great. Sometimes I think it's great to use what you normally would have been trash. Like these cases, I get these cases for nothing. These come to me for free. So I modify them and I make them work because I'm not going to go out and spend $20 on a stupid frame to build when I have frames everywhere. I have frames all over the place. I even built this little guy. Oh my God, 3070s getting fully rented. So yeah, we're using what we have. We're staying grateful. We are not taking any smack. This is the time to just ignore the noise. And if you're not in, you don't have good positions in something, not financial advice, but this is a good time to reevaluate what you're doing in this environment because we are going there, folks. This is it. This is our year, 2025. From now till 2026, who knows what's going to happen, buddy? We are going there, dude. I don't know what to tell you, but it is going to be like extremely exciting and extremely nerve-wracking for some of us. But for me, for a lot of you guys are planned, prepped, and ready to go. Some of you guys are completely out of crypto altogether. You're not even into mining. You're just into AI. So bless your heart. But some of us we still believe in these other projects like Kaspa, like Bitcoin, like Ethereum Classic, or whatever it is you may be into. A lot of people think Litecoin is better than Kaspa. Well, that's just not the truth. You know what I mean? Like Litecoin is great. It moves a lot of money. It's pretty quick. But quick is not at the speed of the internet. We need something that's going to move at the speed of life, at the speed of the internet. The internet is now here to stay, and we all use it now. When you go to the grocery store or you go to the gas station, people don't even recognize. They put their card in the pump. That card is going over the gas station's internet connection. They have a Comcast. They have an AT&T connection. They have something that your card is getting registered. It's communicating with Visa. It's saying, hey, is this person is this person viable? Do they have funds to make this gasoline purchase? And it goes yes or no. And Visa, MasterCard, all those things happen quickly. They happen almost instantly. And so Kaspa is on that level. And there isn't a crypto that is like that. So yeah, you're a miner, you call Kaspa a shitcoin, but it just shows you, it shows the world how ignorant you are to this. You say, oh, my mining farm, I have this, these Kaspa miners are terrible. It just shows me how much you don't understand what you have and what you've been mining. So that's it. That's where we're going. Kaspa is the first crypto, first layer one that can stand on its own 2 feet and go to the speed of the internet and beyond. We are at 10 blocks per second and we are able to compete with internet speed, but we can scale beyond that. So that's it. That's where we stand. I mean, you had an opportunity to mine Lithium, Kaspa, or Radiant, or Dynex back when all those came out. And some of us made really poor choices. I, myself included. I put too many GPUs on Radiant, too many GPUs on a Lithium, but we didn't know. All three of these seem like viable options, but now look who is king. Who has a $3 billion market cap? Not any of the other ones. It's just Kaspa, and Kaspa's growing. So we'll see you at the top. I wish you all the best. God bless you all. I hope you're doing well. And if you like this kind of just long form, open source bullshit content like this, it's kind of fun to make. I think I want to make some more. It's good. It's healthy. You get out of your system. You got to get out there and sweat. Make sure you're exercising. Make sure you're getting outside and walking. You know what they say, man. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. So go ahead and use it. Whatever it is, you get after it. All right, guys. Have a good day. Peace.